Hello and welcome back. Okay, before we jump into this video, I first wanted to say, go ahead and hit that bell so that you get notified all things mental health. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button because I like to think that I'm dope and you're dope. And so we should come together and create a dope community. Let's go ahead and jump into it and let me tell you my journey, private practice. The reason why I'm making this video is because I feel like people may see me in the social media space and they're like, damn, Shawnee, you're successful. Damn, girl, you do that damn thing. Damn! And I'm like, yeah, that's great. This, where I am right now, I wouldn't necessarily, actually, let me take that back. It's not the end game. This has always been a goal of mine. I remember when I graduated from grad school and at my graduation party, people were like, where do you see yourself? I was like, I'm gonna open up a private practice and my husband's gonna be a stay-at-home dad. Here we are. I feel like when it comes to me and my journey, anything that comes out of this mouth comes into fruition. You're gonna be a millionaire.
Yeah, boy.
Girl, please. Y'all heard it here first. Let me tell you about my journey to private practice. I started out in the mental health field. First off, before I jump into the video, I wanted to say, why am I sharing my story with you? Because I think it's important to feel inspired. And I know that there's some therapist out there who is a Black person, who has aspirations and dreams, and I'm letting you know, your dreams and aspirations can come true because I did it. And I had no one that looked like me to show me how to get where I am. I created this path for myself and I am here to be a witness that you can do it too. So let's jump into it, my journey to private practice. I started out my journey working in home for children diagnosed with autism. I was 18 years old. I was getting my bachelor's degree at University of Wisconsin-Parkside, and I have always known that psychology is a passion of mine, people are passion of mine. And I remember when I had that job, I remember looking up to the supervisors in the company and being like, wow, like y'all really own this, huh? Y'all doing the damn thing. Like, I want to be like you one day. I want to own a company. And I remember deep down inside, although I was humbled by most of my jobs, I knew that I aspired to be something great. But in order to be great, I had to fail. I had to start at the bottom, and I had to make sure that I had lessons under my belt to be where I am today. So going into people's homes at 18 years old, helping children that are diagnosed with autism was a lot, because first of all, sometimes I would be at these people's houses for like 2-hour stints. Let me tell you. And the pay, 2004, I'm gonna let you figure out what that was, because all I remember is I think I was making like $12 an hour, $11 an hour. And it was just enough to buy me vodka on the weekends. That's what it got me. The next job that I ended up getting, you are not going to believe this, but I'm going to tell you, because the lesson that I learned from this opportunity is one that I hope you take away from this video. I graduated with my undergrad degree in psychology, and I was ready to jump right into being a therapist. And my counselor at the time, advisor, told me I had to go to grad school. They didn't tell me that at the beginning. They didn't tell me that when I started the program. I feel like I found this out after they took a couple of $1,000s from me in student loans, but that's cool. I ain't salty about it. And I said, you know what? I don't want to go straight to grad school. I'm tired of school. I had a good time in undergrad, but I was tired of school. I wanted to be in the field. I saw this job come up, and it was at my local jail. And the job description was all these things. I was like, I could do it. I could do it. I could do it. I could do it. I got no experience in it. On top of that, they wanted you to have a master's. On top of that, they wanted you to be licensed. And I was like, okay, whatever. I am a learner. I will become the best person for the job, although that might not be who I am right now. So I said, fuck it, and I applied for it. Guess what? Your girl got an interview. Guess what? She then got an offer. And I'll never forget, I think my offer was for like $38,000 a year. This is the year 2010. I was like a bitch is rich. And I remember I walked into the job on the first day and I felt like the world was my oyster. I walked into this jail. I had to get clearance, y'all. The background check to work in a jail. Don't worry. I was not concerned about that. I actually was a little bit concerned because although I got a drinking ticket in college, it was at the college campus. And so I thought that was going to make me not get the job, but they didn't care about that. I interviewed so well, I got the job. So you tell me, what's the lesson that you are taking away from this? I don't care what that job description says. You want it, it's yours. Apply for it. I eventually became the supervisor of the mental health department in the jail. This job humbled me. It made me recognize humanity at its vulnerability. To see someone come into a jail because they got a DUI, the only difference between them and me at that time was that I didn't get caught. On top of that, I was able to work alongside nurses and the psychiatrists. I learned about medications. I learned about diagnosing before I even went to grad school. That brings me to grad school. I ended up deciding it's time to go to grad school, Shawnee. We need to get that license because this $38,000 a year ain't cutting it no more. And you about to get married? No, you got bigger dreams. So I applied to grad school. And then I went back to working with children diagnosed with autism in their homes. While I was in grad school, I just needed a little bit of money. Don't burn your bridges. After I graduated from grad school, I decided to apply to my first big girl job. Where did I decide I wanted to work? An insurance company. I told myself, if I'm going to be in private practice one day, I am going to know the ins and outs of insurance. And that's what I did. I went and I worked for an insurance company and I worked in the behavioral health department offering EAP services to clients of that insurance company. I remember working that job and feeling like this was not my purpose. I remember feeling like a minion. I just knew this ain't gonna do it, honey. This ain't gonna do it. I just knew this wasn't gonna do it. So I was at that job for roughly maybe about a year. I also got the job when I was pregnant. They didn't know I was pregnant. I knew I was pregnant.
Run.
But y'all gonna learn that my pregnancy plays a role in the different things that I do when it comes to my job. So I had my first pregnancy and afterwards I decided that I wanted to be a stay-at-home mom for a little bit. That shit wasn't for me. And I was like, okay, I need to have like a part-time job. So luckily the insurance company allowed me to work 2 4-hour shifts in the evening. And that was the best thing that could have happened to me. Then we decided we wanted to purchase our first house and our income didn't qualify us. So I was like, that's fine. I'm gonna go back to work. Now, I originally applied to work in a jail. I did get that position, but I declined it. I decided I wanted to do something different. It was time to work with teens. And that's how I found myself working in a day treatment facility. And y'all, we got another video about the signs that a mental health job is gonna burn you out, but I digress right now. I ended up working in a day treatment facility offering day treatment to teens. And I loved my clients so much. First off, what did I learn from this job? I learned from this job how not to operate a company when you have people working for you, specifically people in the mental health field. You have compassion fatigue and you have burnout, and then when the company is in chaos, honey, that is how you have high turnover. And that's ultimately what led me to my next job. And that's where I found myself doing in-home therapy with parents and teens to keep teens off of the streets. Now, when I worked for this specific company, I had one issue. I was the only Black therapist. And I remember sometimes they would give me cases and they're like, the client wanted a Black therapist. Now, I have no problem with being representation, but I do have a problem when my skills and talents aren't taken into consideration and I'm getting clients based on not only representation, but also my skills and talents. And this is where I learned how to use my voice. Let me tell y'all, I was scared as hell to bring up to my supervisor, are you just giving me Black clients because I'm Black? Scared, honey. But you know what? That is the job where I learned how to use my voice. That is also the job where I quit while on maternity leave. Your girl had bigger plans. Well, shortly when I got pregnant with my second child, I had started a contracting role as it was actually an employee role, dabbling in private practice. I'll never forget. It was the most informal interview. What lured me in? I was just browsing Indeed. Now, you know, when you work in a job and you're like, I don't really know how I feel about this job, and you just be browsing Indeed, you know what I'm saying? saying? You just kind of browsing it, seeing what's up there. And come to find out, you find a job, you're like, I want that job. And you apply, you're like, I don't know if I'm gonna get it. I knew I was gonna get it. I ain't been in private practice, but I knew it was my dream and my end goal. So I go into the interview and the supervisor literally just asked me questions about myself. What's my story? And I knew I was in the right space. She looked me dead in the eye and she goes, Shawnee, you're gonna be good at this. And I said, girl, I know. And that's when I started working part-time in private practice. At the time, I was an employee and I had a 60-40 split. I got 60% of the collected receipts when it came to insurances and payments. Now, I knew that was the long-term goal end game. So when I got pregnant with my second child, I quit while on maternity leave. I needed freedom. I needed flexibility. I was tired of being in my car driving. I was tired of showing up to clients' house, standing outside in the winter, knocking on their door. They peeping in the window. I know you see me. I'm out here in a pea coat trying to look good. It's -10, feel like -25, and you looking at me through the blinds. I kind of got worn out from that. So that's where I found myself in private practice. Now, where I am today, where I own a group private practice, that was also a journey. So I started as an employee, 60-40 split. Then I moved to a contractor. I started an LLC and moved out of the employee role, became a contractor with the company, still kept my clients, but now I had a little bit more freedom in what I was able to do. And then I still kept, no, I didn't. And then this was also a way for me to give myself a raise because I kept asking the supervisor, I was like, when you in private practice, how do you get a raise when you take insurance? And she was like, you get more clients. I was like, girl, that's not the type of raise I'm looking for. So that's when I decided to go into a contractor role. And it went from a 60-40 split to a 70-30 split. 10% raise, baby. I also raised my rates a little bit because I got licensed. Yes, up until this point, I was unlicensed. And then I became a clinician that could practice individually with my LPCC. Now, at this point, I had to figure out, how do I get out of this because I had a non-compete? Well, your girl, the universe was on my side. I just asked. I said, hey, you've known from the beginning that I want to move on and do bigger and better things. Can I keep my clients? And she said yes. So I went out on my own in 2019. In 2021, I decided to apply for an NPI-2. An NPI-1 is when you have a national provider ID and it's just as an individual. An NPI-2 is when you operate, say, a facility or as a group. So I got my NPI-2 and I hired my first contracted therapist. And here we are in 2023. And that is my journey into private practice. I want to thank you so much for watching. I appreciate you. You matter. Your mental health matters. Don't forget to click that bell. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. And I hope you know you're worth it. Deuces.